Something really special is happening right now, but it's not on some brightly lit football field or a polished basketball court. Nope. It's happening out on the dirt paths and in the forest trails all across the country. And it is all being driven by one amazing organization, NICA, which stands for the National Interscholastic Cycling Association. We're going to dig into how this group is totally flipping the script on youth sports, one trail at a time. And let's just get this out of the way right now. This is not the high-pressure, gotta-win at all costs world of elite athletics you might be thinking of. The story of NICA is about something way more real. It's about community, it's about character, and it's about that simple, incredible freedom of just riding a bike. So, how did a movement like this even get started? Well, it all began with a super simple but pretty radical idea. It all kicked off back in 2009. And what started with just a few leagues in the early days, well, it has absolutely exploded. We're talking about a genuine nationwide movement now. And that kind of growth only happens when you're built on a really powerful, really clear purpose. And this is it. This is the mission that drives every single thing they do. It's not about finding the next pro cyclist or winning a bunch of trophies. It's just more kids on bikes. In a world where youth sports can be so intense and exclusive, that simple phrase, that's actually a revolutionary act. And you don't have to take my word for it. Hearing it from the people who started it all, it just says everything. This quote really gets to the soul of the NICA philosophy. It was never about who stood on the podium. It was always about creating a lifelong passion for riding and, maybe more importantly, making sure every single kid felt like they had a place where they belonged. So this idea that every rider matters, it's at the absolute core of everything. It's a total 180 from the way we usually think about youth sports. So what does that actually look like in practice? This right here, this slide tells the whole story. Think about traditional sports for a second. The stress of tryouts, right? The heartbreak of getting cut. The feeling of just sitting on the bench game after game. NICA just takes that entire model and throws it out the window. Here, there are no cuts. Everybody rides. Everybody participates. The whole focus shifts from winning the race to building character along the way. And these values, these are the real trophies. This is what the coaches are teaching, and this is what the students are learning every single day. Things like how to be resilient when you're facing a tough climb, how to truly work together as a team, and how to build a space where absolutely everyone feels welcome and valued. And this is what it feels like for the kids on the inside. This student's words say it all. Can you imagine that? Not being the fastest rider out there, but feeling like you're on top of the world because your team has your back. That's the magic. That's the secret ingredient that keeps these kids coming back for more.
But this story gets even bigger. The impact doesn't just stop with the riders. This positive energy, it actually radiates outward and starts transforming entire towns.
Because look, it's one thing to build a sports team, but it's something else entirely to build a community. And that's what NICA has become, a powerful engine for bringing people together, way beyond the finish line. And it all happens so naturally. It starts with the parents, who get off the sidelines and volunteer to become coaches and ride leaders themselves. Then, local clubs pop up to build and take care of the very trails they all ride on. And before you know it, the whole town is invested, showing up to cheer on their local team. It creates this amazing, supportive web. This parent's perspective just nails it, doesn't it? It's a 2-for-1 deal. The kids are gaining incredible confidence on the bike, and at the exact same time, the adults are making new friends, building trails, and strengthening the fabric of their town. It's this powerful, positive cycle. So, when you zoom out, what's the lasting impact of this whole movement? Let's take a look at the legacy NICA is building and what it could mean for the future of sports. Well, first, just look at the sheer scale of it all. This movement has spread to over 30 states. Let that sink in. This isn't just some small local thing anymore. It's a proven model that is taking root and just thriving all across the country. So what happens to these kids after they graduate from the program? Well, sure, some of them do go on to race in college or even join the pro circuits, which is awesome. But for so many others, the outcome is just as profound. They become lifelong riders. And maybe most importantly, they discover a strength and a resiliency out on that trail that they carry with them for the rest of their lives. And really, that's the true victory here. It's not about one race or one championship. It's the proof. NICA has shown without a doubt that you can build a youth sports program that is, at its very core, inclusive, empowering, and genuinely life-changing for everyone who gets involved. And that kind of leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? When we see how successful this approach is, focusing on participation instead of elimination, on character instead of just winning, it really makes you wonder, what could our other youth sports, and maybe even our communities as a whole, learn from this quiet revolution happening on two wheels?